A new developer discussion just dropped, and while there is no information about artifact loadouts here, there is some good stuff. So what does it have? The first change is a significant addition to the new player experience, as well as those players who maybe don't want to rush a story the moment it comes out just to do a weekly boss. What this is going to allow you to do is go to your adventurer's handbook and quick challenge a Trounce domain, aka a weekly boss, through this menu without actually having to do the prerequisite quests. This is a change that is going to heavily reward new players. Now when they roll for a powerful new character that people are talking about and raving about, they won't have to wait to complete literally like hours of story just to be able to level up their talents fully. Now they can do it at a leisurely pace and not have to worry about rushing just to get to a weekly boss, which is very significant even for some existing players, because I've known people who want to save up Archon quests to experience it all at once, but then they're left with the dilemma of, hey, do I actually stick to this plan and do what I want to do, or do I power through it just to get to the weekly boss because I don't want to miss out on boss materials for characters that I'm rolling for in the meantime. Being able to choose when I do an Archon quest, not just having it to be decided for me because of weekly boss, is an excellent change. Next up is the change to story quests that they talked about. Now the deal with this. Some people, like myself, you feel like you want to use your keys from daily quests and unlock as many story quests as possible. That way you can do them when you want to. The problem that arises when you do this is you now have a ton of story quests active, and when you try to do things like Archon quests or even sometimes other character story quests, you get stuck in a chain where you can't do that quest until you do this quest, and then you can't do that quest until you do another quest, and on and on. Well, not anymore. With this change, now you can unlock a story quest, but you haven't actually accepted it yet. So now you can unlock it, spend your keys, be efficient with those, and accept them whenever you feel like doing them. In addition to that, when story quests and hangout events have prerequisite conditions that need to be met, a pop-up will appear when you click them that shows the content that needs to be completed first. You can go complete it by clicking the button to the right of the corresponding quests. This is great because I want to spend my keys as I get them and unlock everything, but I also don't want to unlock a bunch of story quests that I have no intention of completing immediately just to spend my keys efficiently, only to be clogged up in my quest log and not be able to do quests I actually need to do, such as for unlocking a weekly boss, for example, and then have to complete like little bits and pieces of various different story quests that then not only ruin the pace of those story quests, but also just prevent me from getting to what I'm actually trying to do. Another really great change, and obviously a better change, would just be to somehow abolish the system that causes NPCs to block other quests and just let you do whatever you want, but I really don't know how complicated that would be with the systems they've designed, but obviously that would be the best, but this is a good consolation prize. Now to move away from story related things, let's go to something that affects everybody: map function optimizations. Now essentially here they're just giving us 200 pins, not 200 more pins. Unfortunately, the limit is being increased to 200. I don't know why they seem hellbent on just rationing us pins, but I guess we'll take it. You know, anything is better than nothing. My theory is that they want to limit the amount of pins we can set, that way it drives more traffic to the interactive map, of which they have an official version of, giving them more site traffic, which is overall good for them. In addition to the more pins, they've also given us the option to batch delete pins. After selecting a pin, click the button at the bottom right of the sidebar to select a batch. Now I don't know how that's going to actually work, but I'm thinking maybe you can just click a bunch of them and delete them all at once, which would save you some clicks. Obviously, I wish we could just click and drag a box and select a bunch at once, but I know that's probably not going to happen. Then let's quickly move on to TCG, and about 90% of you probably immediately clicked off this video upon hearing those three letters, but hear me out, this is really quick. They are giving us the Accelerate Duel feature, which is going to speed up various animations such as the dice roll and some animations about round hints and other interface animations that will just make TCG overall a smoother experience. Then they're also adding the deck sharing code feature, which anyone who's familiar with other dedicated TCG games, you know, like Hearthstone, Legends of Runeterra, Magic probably has it. I don't really play Magic anymore. It's just a very common feature that makes it very easy to share decks with other players. You input a code, then it's going to build the deck for you, provided you have the proper cards. They did, of course, say they were working on other optimizations that they will share at a future date, presumably artifact loadouts, because they already mentioned that in a previous developer discussion. Unfortunately, no new news on that front, but I would say these changes are still good, helping the new player experience for such an old game that really such an old game. It's only like a few years old, but with how much story they've introduced in that time and how many Archon quests they have built up, this does mean a lot. I know it's not going to mean mean a lot to a lot of you out there, but just try to sympathize with those that it does impact, because it is a significant change, and anything that helps more people play the game and enjoy it, that is better for the overall health of the game. I know some of you out there might be thinking, oh great, more things for people to ignore the story of the game, and maybe you're really into the story, but don't view it that way, because forcing somebody to do the story, to do gameplay such as a weekly boss, is not a way to get someone into the story. Forcing something on somebody is more likely to make them dislike it even more than make them change their mind and be like, oh, I'm actually really enjoying this and I thought I wouldn't. Being able to start it whenever they want is a lot better of a way to get people to enjoy the story of the game. That's just my opinion, and you can share yours in the comments below. You know, do you think these changes are adequate? Are you a little disappointed by this developer discussion? At least we're getting tangible changes that are coming in the immediate upcoming version, and not just talking about things with no set dates and no real details. At least we got more pins, but hey, we are still drowning in that case. You know, we are drowning in the rapids of a very violent river, and they threw us a snorkel to try to breathe. It's something, but it's not a lot. In any case, thank you to my patrons and my members for supporting me as always. Thank you to you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Attaboy!